really think it's a paradox. I think it's actually more an affirmation of the value of the event. The successful business owners, business managers have to recognize the fact that the world is changing around them. I've talked a lot about dynamic stability, like riding a bike, that the way you stay stable on a bike is by going fast, and the minute you stop, you fall. When we gather executives at a conference like AVIC, or we gather industry people like we have right here at the Experience event that we're sponsoring in Atlanta, you have an opportunity not just to learn from the speaker on the stage, but from the person sitting to your left and your right and in front of you and behind you. And if those are people that are successful in your marketplace, why would you not want to learn from them? I would argue that the smartest people in the industry are coming to those, and that's how they got to be the smartest, and that's how they're going to stay the smartest.
Yeah, one of the things that a couple of the other people I talked to said is that they wish that some of the businesses that maybe weren't as successful were in the room for an event like that, like an AVIC, and they were hearing the advice from some of these speakers and getting the same knowledge that some of the more successful companies were hearing. What do you think about that idea?
I agree. That I personally, I am the kind of person that never feels like I know enough about anything, whether it's cooking or running a business or AV over IP. And I think that curiosity is a hunger that drives success, and you can't fix the absence of that hunger. And so celebrate that hunger and come to places where it can be fed. There, beat that metaphor to death.
Great. Is there anything else about this you wanted to mention?
No, I mean, the light's on. We'd love to have anybody that can find value in the agenda come to these types of events. Take advantage of the offerings, not only of ours, but of anybody that's contributing to the industry. The industry advances in a fashion that is dependent on all of us being better and driving value for our customers, creating an integrated experience that justifies value.
So when you think about those 400, I know that you tried to get, sort of the elite folks from the industry, some of the largest and most significant integration firms.
Yeah.
So these are guys who are good at what they do. Yet, they get into a room and they sit through sessions, and kind of the goal of all the sessions is to help them do what they do better.
Sure.
Is that a little bit of a challenge when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
talking about the best of the best?
Yeah.
How do you negotiate that challenge?
Well, we got to raise the bar every year. So,
Yeah.
What's really cool about this, though, is we have the largest integrators on the AV side, the security, life safety, networking. These are the best of the best. And so what we do is we have to build the content and the deliverables, everything that we have for instructional design and the takeaways. Everything is at such a high level now. And what's really neat about that is that even the companies that have 20 employees or 30 or 40 on their way to becoming a larger organization, they're sitting side by side with companies that might have 1,000 employees, and we're all hearing the same things. And so being scalable, making the content scalable is really key, so that we have relevant information for the small integrators and relevant information for medium and large and all that. But the core principles of leadership, creating vision, creating a culture, executing a strategy and stuff, is equally as relevant to the new companies or smaller integrators as it is the larger ones.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, Craig, this year's conference is really focused more around culture and driving culture from the top down, and more so organizational transformation through culture. So we talk about customer experience, team member experience, recruitment, retainment, all again through the leadership and the culture of the company. So this conference is a little bit different than perhaps some of the conferences in the past, where we talk about really more business philosophy, best practices, RMR.
Yeah, so one of the things we talk about large and small companies is there's just no finish line in this race. It's always a process of continually improving, reevaluating, assessing where you are. It's not always major changes, it's a continual change and evaluation and reassessment, and that's what this is all about. Where our end users are having different experiences and expecting different things from us, and you don't make wholesale changes, you make minor changes. If it's not broke, it doesn't mean you don't make it better. And so that's kind of the attitude, and that's kind of the approach we all have with each other.
Yeah, I think, some of the things that we've heard today are not necessarily profound. I mean, the first, bit of content that we heard, first speaker, was all about really being truly customer focused and listening to the customer. And it sounds simple, and we think that we're all customer focused, but probably not to the extent that we need to be and should be. So it's a little bit harder than just going out and talking to your customer every once in a while. So it does take certainly an integrated effort. Matt Dixon, who wrote the book, The Challenger Sale, I think that's even a more difficult transition, because I believe that the audio-video industry largely is lacking professional sales talent. The majority of, I think, salespeople in this industry they're more sales engineers than they are salespeople. They walk into a room and they start mentally designing the room in their head and don't even ask customers questions like, what's at risk if things don't go well, and what's the communication objective, and ultimately what are you trying to accomplish out of this room, and asking those questions that really uncover need and get a better understanding of what the customer requirement is. So I think that's a more difficult process, is to really take largely more of a technical salesperson and have them develop into more of an enterprise salesperson, and I think that that's largely needed.